Alrighty, testing. Can you guys hear me? Awesome. All right, so just for reference, my name is Martin. I live in Copenhagen, Denmark. I am the co-founder and co-owner of Pecunia Systems, the company behind Synergy and lots of other things. And so we're working with Troy on bringing some really cool stuff to you guys. For those of you that don't have Synergy yet, it was built for speed and automation. As you may realize by now, or maybe you already have, speed is really key in trading. Sometimes you have lots of time, and other times not so much. Sometimes you have very little time to do whatever you need to do. And so one of the key philosophies that Synergy was built on is that we want to automate and preset and pre-configure as much as we can, so that whenever we need to do something, we can do it super fast. Like, for example, if we want to very quickly close or partially close a position, we can do that with just one click of a button. We can also go into, so everything that you see on the screen is set up in the presets. In the presets, you can also default the risk and the stops and a ton of other things, so that if you do need to go market like right away, you don't need to select the risk or the stop or anything else. It's already there. Now, pro tip, when you set up Synergy, I do recommend that you only have the symbols that you actually trade, because that way it's a lot easier to find the stuff you need, and also you don't necessarily you don't select the wrong symbol by mistake, right? So if you only trade one symbol or 10, whatever the number is, just make sure you only have those symbols on your screen. And the same goes in MC4 or any other trading platform. Only show the stuff you need. It's going to make things a lot more simple. Okay. So we're working on a lot of different things. One of them is some tools, some additions to Synergy that will allow you to place the trades even faster. So, yes, let me print my screen. Let me see if I can do that. Can I do screen sharing? Let me see if I can do that. Give me 1 second here. I think I need to install some stuff to do that. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, cool. Yeah, so what I was saying before was, when you set up Synergy, only have the symbols showing that you trade, because it's going to make it a lot more easy to find the symbols that you need. And also, the default stop, target, and risk and everything else, you can preset that too. So when you go into settings, you go into presets, you can set your default stop, default target, default risk. So the first value on
Martin,
the list
we can't
is
hear
the
you.
default value.
I don't know if you can hear me. We see your screen, but we don't hear you. Oh, wait, that might be me. I muted my speaker. Hey, could you guys hear Martin? That's probably just me, because I didn't want my own voice going through the speaker. All right, good. We're good. Sorry about that, Martin. My bad. Please continue.
All right, no worries. All right. Yeah, so you can set that up default. So if you want to use default 2% risk, just go into the preset and just put the first value under risk at 2. If you only want to use 1, you can do that. You can also add other values, whatever you want to use. And then when you close it down, it'll update the main screen, and now you have 2 as the default risk. You can do the same thing with the stop and the targets. So for those times when you need to go market, you can have this preset, and then all you need to do is just hit buy or sell, and then the order goes in, and that's really all you need to do. And then once you've done that, you can go and add the partial close. So one of the keys here, I noticed in one of the comments, one guy was mentioning that he had Googled it and he had to place multiple orders. And while that is true, if you don't use Synergy, you would need to place 1 order per exit, and that would suck, because that would be like 4 or 5 orders, and that would take some time. But Synergy does a partial close for you. So physically, you have 1 trade in the account, and then through the partial close, you really only ever have 1 trade on, and then a Synergy partially closes it for you based on the settings that you set up under the partial close. So it's pretty neat. Another thing, when you go to the prep tool, is that you can actually put in 2 levels of partial close right here. So if you have time as in 30 seconds or more, to place the order, you could put in the first partial close price and the second partial close price here, use the percentage, and then Synergy will already add those two for you. And then if you need more, you can add those manually after the fact. Now, onto the really cool stuff. So what we're working on with Troy is to add a new tool. So when you right-click on the symbol name, you have these two different tools, and there's going to be a third tool that is going to allow Synergy to get all the different values that it needs from TradeStation. So that means that you don't need to copy and paste values or type them in. They will already be on the screen. So basically, you'll open up a new tool, and then it'll have the values from TradeStation already on the screen. And then there's going to be an option for tweaking them based on the spread. So if you want to offset everything by, say, 2 pips, you just put in 2, and it's gonna offset based on it being a buy or a sell, based on Troy's rules that he spent a lot of time going through. That's going to be done for you as well. So you don't need to copy and paste values or type them in or make any adjustments. The software does all of that for you. So really all you have to do is just quickly verify that things are looking good, then hit the button and you're done. So, and it's also going to use the default risk as well. So it's really going to cut down the number of steps. So it means that you can place the orders very, very, very quickly. And we're talking literally within seconds. So that's going to make a huge difference. And we're also working on some tools for Kevin for him to be able to get the values out faster as well, to give him less typing and more doing other stuff. And it is possible to do custom charts in MC5. The problem is getting the right data. And I'm not gonna, I don't want to go too much into the tech side on that, but the charts can be done, but they're not perfect. So we're looking at different solutions, different options, and there certainly are different solutions and options. We just haven't come up with the optimal solution yet. So like Troy said, it's not perfect yet, but we're working on it. So with that addition to Synergy, it's going to be much faster and much easier to place the trades. And then with the additional tools for Kevin, it's going to be even easier for him to get it out to you. And then, I don't know, Troy, should I mention to them about the Ferrari solution that's going to be coming here at some point? We don't quite know if it's going to be in 2 months or 4 months, but it's going to be probably early next year. Should I mention that one too? Troy says yes. Okay, so one of the things, well, actually one of the biggest challenges is that unless you're at your screen ready to place the order, say you're out, somewhere else that's not in front of your screen, maybe you're in the car or whatever the case may be, you're not at your desk or at your screen ready to place the orders. Well, what happens then? Because then you might miss the trade. So one solution that we're working on, and again, it's not going to be this year, it's going to be early next year, but we're adding an additional feature to Synergy. So the one that I just talked about is going to be coming out here next month. So it's going to be out here in really just a few weeks, and that's going to make things a lot faster and a lot easier. And then the second thing, it's still going to be a few months away, but the second thing, which is pretty ninja, is imagine that you're out away from your screen, and you have Synergy running on your computer, and you have an app on your mobile device. And then whatever Kevin calls a trade, you get a message on your mobile device with information about the trade, and all you do is hit confirm, and then the app sends a message to Synergy to place the order for you with all the values. So you really only have to press a button, and then it does everything else for you, even though you're not technically physically at your screen. So that's something that we're going to be developing with Troy here in the future. So it's not there yet, but it's going to be coming out sometime early next year. And that's really the Ferrari solution, because at that point, it doesn't matter where you are. You just really, all you have to do is confirm the trade, and then the system handles everything else for you. So I don't know what you guys think about that. So at that point, it doesn't matter what you have, because all you need is a trading account that is hooked up with Synergy, and then the system will handle everything else for you. So at that point, you don't need TradeStation, really, because yeah. And also, we are in the process of adding MT5 support for Synergy. So here, very soon, it'll be supporting both MT4 and MT5, which is going to give you even more options for brokers. So yeah, so very cool things are coming. And but the first thing is the tool that's going to help you place the trades faster without any typos or any issues. The only issue with that is that you have to be on your screen, or at least be able to get to your screen pretty fast to place the order. All right. The spread adjustment in the tool that's coming out next month is something that you can set in. So you just basically put in the number, 1, 1.5, 2, whatever you want the offset to be, and then you hit the button, and Synergy does the calculation for the offset, and that's it. Troy says the risk. All right, so just go to the lower left here, click on settings, and then go to preset, and here you can put in the default stop, the default target, the default risk, and you can put in multiple values. So if you want to switch between, say, 2 and 3 or 1% risk, just put the values in. The first value is going to be the default value. So just put them in any order. Synergy will sort them for you and make it all look pretty. Right? And so the offset in the other tool is going to be something that you can pre-configure so that it's already there. So if you want to use 1.5 or 2, whatever, you just put that value in under settings, and then the system will handle that for you. So at that point, it doesn't matter where you are at. I mean, you could literally have a laptop in the attic standing by, and then you can be out somewhere and just hitting confirm on your mobile device. So yeah, it's so that's coming. And again, we'll keep you posted on the progress. But the first goal is to make a small edition to help you guys out as fast as we can, and then the other solution is going to come after that. Okay. So let me see here. You click on settings, and then you just go to presets, and then you just click in here. You can just delete the whole thing. You want to say 20 pip default stop. Maybe you want the target to be 50. You can put in 2 as the default risk. And there you go. I'm not sure what you're doing then. Go to settings, go to presets, and then just click in the cell. It should open up, and you can edit it. Maybe you're clicking somewhere else. All right, I'm just gonna look at my notes here. Oh yeah, so talking about the suffixes, this is really important. So when you have an account really with any broker on MT4, some of them will have suffixes and some of them won't. So I'm using Pepperstone, and on this account type, they have .r as the suffix. So that means that is the suffix that I want to be trading. Now, some brokers only have one option. Like in this case, .r is all I have, so you can't really go wrong with that. But other brokers like Oanda and others, they have different versions of the same symbol. So some brokers will have, for example, EuroUSD.R, EuroUSD.P, or whatever the case may be. And if that is the case, if your broker has multiple versions of the symbol, you have to ask them, which one should I be trading? Because in most cases, you don't really have an option. In many cases, if there's different ones, let's say there's 2, one probably can't be traded, and then the other one can. So example, some brokers may have a symbol without a suffix and one with a suffix. So EuroUSD, just EuroUSD, and another one that is EURUSD.R. And so one of them you probably can't trade, the other one you can. So you need to ask your broker which one is tradable, right? This is really important. So if you don't really have any options, if they all are with suffix or without, then you're fine. No problem. Just load the template on any Forex symbol and you're good to go. But if there are multiple versions, if you have EURUSD.R or whatever it is, and then another one, EURUSDX or whatever the heck they might put after it, you need to make sure that you're using the right suffix. So when you load the Synergy template on a Forex symbol, it's going to default to that suffix. And that's why it's so important that you load it on the right symbol, because if you want to be trading EURUSD.R and you have EURUSDX, don't load it on the one with the X, because then it won't work. It's going to default to X and you want to use the other one. All right? So just keep that in mind. If there are suffixes on everything or nothing, then you're good to go. If you have multiple options, ask the broker, which one do I need to be using? And they'll tell you. And in some cases, like Oanda, they may have two different ones, and you can actually use both. Well, that's because, and some brokers do this, they have one suffix for fixed spread and one suffix for variable spread, or whatever the case may be. But again, just ask the broker, and they'll tell you. John is asking about the spread difference. Well, Synergy doesn't know what the spread difference is between TradeStation and your broker. So you really have to put that in manually. It can see the spread difference, obviously, for the broker that you have. Like if we go in here, we can see what the spread is, but it can't see the difference because it doesn't know what the difference is. So the suffix will not show up in Synergy. You can see here, it says EURUSD, EURUSD. If you go to Pt.4, it says EURUSD.R. And that's because we don't want to confuse anyone with the suffixes. And the reason we don't want to do that is because if you have different accounts with different brokers with different suffixes, it's going to look very confusing with one says EURUSD, one says EURUSDX, one has .R, whatever they may have. It's going to be super confusing to see. So to make it very simple and very clean, we show the actual symbol name the way it should be, and then the broker may have, whatever they may have. And I also want to add on the suffixes that some brokers, they actually have a really legitimate reason for having the suffix, like Oanda. They use it for switching between the spreads and other things, and that's fine. Some brokers add them just because they think it's cool, which is insane. In this case, with Pepperstone, they have .R because that's a retail account type. They have another one called .P that's for pro accounts. So again, they have a reason for it. But some brokers, they actually add them just for fun because they think it looks cool. But in Synergy, you won't see the suffix. It's not there. So by loading the temp Forex symbol with the suffix, Synergy knows what suffix to use on all the Forex symbols. We're in a sim trade and can't close it. Hit the X. If you're in a trade, let me go into Synergy here. If you're in a trade, just hit the X out here on the far right. There's an X. Just hit that. It'll close the trade. Oh, and there is one. There's no X. Well, then you're not in the Synergy. If you have a market order or even a pending order, there's going to be an X here. Maybe you need to scroll right. If your screen is small, you may have to scroll right to actually see the X, but it's going to be there. If it doesn't want to close, I don't know what the definition of that is, but there's going to be an error usually if you can't close it, but that will be rare. Maybe it's a requote from the broker, I don't know, but if you hit the X, it's going to close the trade. If not, it's going to give you an error that's going to show up right here. Right here, it's going to show like a yellow triangle with an error. You can mouse over it and see what the error is, or you can go into events and see what the error is there. All right. So what else do
Hey,
we
Martin, I'm
have?
going to jump on the mic with you. There might be a little delay between the two of us, just to help
Okay.
with some of these questions. So, Nestle, were you able to find the X for closing the trade? You have to scroll over to the right, and you'll see the different exits. And yeah, if it's pending, you're not going to see that. You have to be in the trade. You have to be in the market
Oh,
tab once the trade gets filled.
there's still an
Now,
X on the pending tab for canceling.
yeah, you can cancel, but you can't scale out.
Right.
If the trade is on, then it's in the market tab. Maybe you have something pending also. Martin, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, so I understand now. I set the 2% as my risk parameter. But that's mainly for marketing in, right? I mean, it won't pre-populate the prep tool with 2%. Is that correct?
No, it doesn't. No, that's being added in the next version. We've
Okay.
had quite a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
asks for
that'd be
that.
great. Anything we can do to eliminate extra keystrokes is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah. So in the new tool, we haven't come up with the actual name. We have a couple different names, but in the new tool, it's going to use the risk from the preset. So you don't need to mess with that, and it's going to get the values from the indicators in TradeStation as well. So really, everything is going to be on the screen already. So really, all you
Right.
have to do is enter in, what offset do you want on the spread, 1.5 or 2, whatever value you want to use, and then you hit a button and it adjusts all the different values based on the order type, and then you just hit commit, and then it places the order. So it'll take you literally a few seconds to do, and then that's it.
And is there a way, could we do a preset on the spread as well?
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, here's the thing. The spread is always moving, right? So even if you type in what the spread is at that moment, half a second later it could change. It will change. So it's always going to be a moving target from a bumpy car. You know what I mean? It will never be able to hit the spread right. So I say pay a little
No.
more in spread to make sure you get filled once the trade legitimately is triggered in or legitimately has hit the stop, versus trying to be penny wise but pound foolish, save a little on the spread but then get triggered into a trade that ended up canceling, for example. So if I know my spread is usually under 2 and I have a 2-pip spread, I know that I'll pay a tiny bit more, but I'm also not going to get into or out of a trade incorrectly. Does everyone understand what I'm saying as far as that goes? So what John is saying is, can Synergy just kind of look and see what the spread is, and at the moment it places the trade, adjust properly? I think that's what John C. is asking.
Well, the thing is, there's two spreads. There's a spread on your account, and then there's a spread on TradeStation. So it's two different moving targets, and Synergy can't see what the spread is on TradeStation.
No, Martin, we don't care about TradeStation, because TradeStation is always going to be the bid. All we care about is our broker filling us or not, and so we don't care about the TradeStation bid or ask. We only care about our broker's bid or ask, because that's who's filling the trade. So when I'm looking at Synergy, let me grab the projector. I'll explain better. Let me grab the projector to show you what I mean. This is not with the discounted spreads, of course, but it's the same concept. By the way, this is all true also with our Forex alerts swing trade. Use Synergy in the same way. Use the spread adjustments in the same way. So, oh, that's weird. I don't know why my pound Aussie now is no longer valid. Let me refresh it. Okay. All right, so The spread is 2.6, 2.5, 2.7, 2.3, 2. You see it changing every moment? You guys can see that, right? Martin, you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, and if it can't be done, that's fine also. But the question is, can Synergy put on the last known spread at the split second before you hit send? Or can you hit send and then have it check the spread really fast, and then that's what it uses for the buy side of the trades? Versus
Yeah, I mean,
my
yes,
idea,
because,
versus
go ahead.
my idea, which is just to have a standard 2 pips on everything, which has got its problems. Obviously, the spread could be less or more sometimes. So just trying to
Well,
mitigate
Synergy
the
already,
spread.
right. Well,
Go ahead,
Synergy
Mark.
already has the spread value, so we can easily add that as an automated piece. So whenever you hit the button to commit the trade, Synergy will adjust the different values based on the order type and then based on what the spread is at that moment.
So then we don't have to calculate the extra 2 pips on the buy side. It'll just do it automatically. Not 2 pips,
Yes.
but what the actual spread is at that moment.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Everybody, are you all happy about that? There should be a lot of all caps. Great. Yeah, John C. Wow. Yeah. So that's awesome. And now you understand why you want to get a broker with the lowest possible spread, pay a little commission, it's worth it, and you don't have to worry about getting the spread right. And now this is still not going to be 100% perfect. Everyone has to understand we're still basing the trades off TradeStation quotes. We wish MT4 could use 8-pip momentum bars. It cannot. This strategy is based on a chart that just keeps winning. We're not going to mess with that. But this is going to make a big difference for everybody. And you still might get bumped out of a trade from time to time. Just realize that.